Hello, my name is Komal Kochhar, and I am the Director for the Office of Research in Medical Education at the Indiana University School of Medicine. One of my responsibilities is to administer an annual exit survey to all resident physicians and fellows in Indiana. In this presentation, I'd like to explain our data collection and dissemination process. Specifically, I will be talking about who we survey, what we ask on our survey, who we collaborate with, what the exit survey results tell us, how those results are shared, and how the results are used in making decisions regarding health workforce planning in our state. To give you a bit of a background on how we got started, in 2007, there was a statewide study conducted to determine the physician workforce distribution in our state, which found that similar to other states, Indiana also showed a shortage of physicians. Being the largest school of medicine in the country, with over 1,200 resident physicians and fellows in training, we decided to delve deeper to see what factors contributed towards our resident physicians' decision while choosing a future practice location, why they chose to Indiana or leave the state. And these data were then used for recruitment and retention purposes. So, who do we survey? We have been conducting two separate surveys for resident physicians completing their training. One is the school-wide exit survey, where the results are shared with the school's leadership. And the second is a statewide exit survey, where the results are shared with the state's Graduate Medical Education Board. The school-wide survey is a cross-sectional survey that has been conducted annually since 2008. It is administered to all final year resident physicians and fellows at the Indiana University School of Medicine. There are about 350 to 400 trainees graduating per year from the school's 94 accredited and 60 non-accredited programs. We've been very fortunate to get a 90% response rate. The second survey that I mentioned is a statewide survey, which is conducted only for the family medicine resident physicians in our state. These include resident physicians completing their postgraduate training at Indiana University, as well as those in family medicine residency programs that are not affiliated with Indiana University. This cross-sectional survey has been conducted since 2012. There are about 90 to 95 trainees graduating per year from the 12 family medicine programs statewide. And we have been very fortunate to get a 95 to a 100% response rate. So what do we ask on our survey? Up until recently, we used paper surveys, but we now collect our data online. We collect data specific to resident demographics, their educational debt, a description of their practice, including the type of practice they're going into, its location, and the patient population that they intend to serve. We also ask resident physicians to assess their training program, including their clinical learning environment, their wellness, and the quality of their program. Who do we collaborate with? For our school-wide survey, we collaborate with the clinical departments within our medical school, the centralized Graduate Medical Education Office, the Dean's Office, and the Indiana legislators and policymakers. For the statewide survey, we collaborate with the 12 hospital-affiliated family medicine residency programs within our state, as well as the Indiana legislators and policymakers. So what do our exit surveys tell us? The results tell us the practice location of our graduates, whether they're going to practice in a health professions shortage area or a medically underserved area, or if they're going to a rural or urban area. The results also show why our graduates decide to stay in the state or leave Indiana to practice in another state. Overall, this information is very useful for recruitment and retention purposes. These results also give insights into the resident physicians' experiences regarding their clinical environment, their teaching experiences, and their perceptions of mistreatment and wellness. For example, this bar graph shows the main reasons resident physicians chose to practice in Indiana. The top 3 reasons given were proximity to their family, the cost of practicing was reasonable in the state, and because of salary or compensation. Here's another example to show the self-reported well-being assessment for the resident physicians in the 12 family medicine programs statewide. They're shown here as hospitals A through K. The percentages shown are 4-year averages across 4 domains: personal or professional balance, feeling burnt out from work, having resources to maintain wellness, and the overall quality of life. By reviewing these data, you can see which programs are doing a good job maintaining the well being of their resident physicians. Another way to show the data is by using maps. For example, the map to the left shows the distribution of our residents by county, and the map on the right shows the percentage of family medicine resident physicians in the 12 training programs and whether they intend to practice in a health professions shortage area or a medically underserved area. We share our data in a variety of different ways. We compile our data into annual reports, which are then shared with the school's leadership as well as the state's medical education board. In addition to reports, we also present our data at local, regional, national, and international conferences. We have also published in peer reviewed journals. Here are a couple of recent posters presented at national conferences. The poster on the left describes where our resident physicians go to practice, and the poster on the right shows 6-year trends in the demographic and practice characteristics of our family medicine resident physicians. As I had mentioned at the start of my presentation, these data are used for future workforce planning. For example, our exit surveys inform the state policy makers about the long-term trends in the composition and distribution of the physician workforce in Indiana. They also help the policymakers develop strategies and incentives to encourage more resident physicians to enter practice in areas of medical need within our state. Thank you so much for your time and interest. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.